On my screen, you can see the Amadeus 8 web application module. We're going to log in to the web application. And what you can see on the left is a menu, and that menu is duplicated in the form of icons on the right-hand side. So let me begin by explaining what is the web application. So the best way to describe it is it's a workable solution. It's a tool for somebody to be able to manage their site. Right? We have selected various features from Amadeus 8 that we think will be the most effective in enabling the site manager to manage the site, perhaps when he's off-site and he's not able to be there. At the moment, what you're seeing is the desktop version of the web application. But the web application has been designed for tablet and for the smartphone as well. Okay, so I'm going to run you through now a simple overview of the application. So I've clicked now on the cardholder icon, and what you see is very intuitive. We have a table, a listing of our cardholders. You can expand on the right-hand side. If you follow my cursor, you could expand a cardholder, and you'll be able to see all of the cardholders, all of his or her details. And from here, you could update the cardholder's details. If there is a cardholder who is invalidated or archived, so that's displayed next to their photograph, the default, where there's no text displayed, is for a validated cardholder. You're able as well to, of course, to be able to create a new cardholder by clicking on the Create Cardholder icon. You also have the functionality of being able to delete a cardholder with the Delete icon. And at the top right is displayed the current total number of cardholders. We also have a search feature, which includes autocomplete, meaning as you begin to type, for example, the last name of a cardholder, so Amadeus 8 will narrow down for you the possible search results. So that's a simple overview of the cardholders feature. Let's move on to the alarms section. So as you're familiar with, very similar to the functionality in Amadeus 8, you can see here in the screen a listing of all your inputs that are currently under alarm, and you're able from this screen to acknowledge an alarm, to confirm an alarm, right? I'm going to show you first the search feature, which also includes, again, the autocomplete functionality. For example, here I currently have alarms from a TPL and from a jet controller. You can also see I have a low battery alarm from a Galaxy panel. If I want to search for all my TPL alarms, I could type in TPL, or for my jet alarms, would display my jet alarms. You're able also to, I'm going to show you now the functionality of acknowledging alarm. It's possible to confirm all of the alarms in the system. And I see the alarms are not all confirmed. Let me refresh the application. Okay, all of my alarms have been confirmed. So this is indicated by the 0 total in the top right-hand section. Okay, so I think that's quite intuitive. So let's move on to the doors section. Right, what you see in front of you here is simply a table of all the doors, all of the readers in your infrastructure. At the bottom, I'd just like to point out, although this is relevant to many of the pages, you're able to select how many items per page you'd like to display. At the moment, we're displaying 10 readers per page. I could change that to 25, right? It's possible to, again, search for any particular alarm in the system. And it's also possible to sort all of the readers in your system by column. You could sort on the name of the reader, you could sort by controller or by network. I want to draw your attention now to the right-hand side of the screen. You'll notice next to each reader, there are 4 buttons, right? Each of these buttons triggers a different action for each reader, right? I'm going to demonstrate the first button triggers an action which will activate the relay of the controller for 5 seconds, and hopefully you'll be able to hear the relay being activated. So let's try that. Okay. The door has opened, and you can see at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, there's a notification when a door has been opened. Next to the activate relay for 5 seconds button is a button to lock the reader, to lock the door, to unlock the door. And if you'd like to return the reader to the normal state, simply click on the right-hand button indicated by the arrow. And you can see a notification at the bottom which says success, return to normal has succeeded. There's one more feature I'd like to point out in this screen, and that is the open all doors functionality. What this means is that if in the event of the site manager needing to evacuate the site, with one click he's able to open all of the doors of the site. Okay, we're going to move on to the event log. So again, this is very intuitive. What you see here is a listing of all the real-time events in your site. Right? I've clicked here, I've selected the Access tab. So what you see here is displayed all of the access granted and access denied events. The most recent event is displayed first. You're able here on each cardholder event to click next to the name. There's a very small icon here next to each name. If you click on that icon, you were able to view the cardholder's details and to update his or her information. You're able, now this applies to all of the tabs, you're able to display how many of the most recent events you'd like to display by changing the number in this field here. And you're able to clear all of the events by clicking Clear Events. Let's move on to the Alarms tab. Now you can see all of the alarms in the system. Right, we earlier confirmed all of the alarms, but you can see that the functionality is very similar to Amadeus 8. You can here again clear all of the events if necessary and display how many events you'd like. Okay, I'm not going to spend too long on the remaining tabs, because the functionality is very similar to the previous ones. Here I've clicked on the technical tab, and you can see all of the real-time technical events in your infrastructure. For example, a low battery alarm from the Galaxy panel. You might have a polling error from a standard controller. Let's move on to, here you see your communication events, your audit events to see what actions the user has taken in the system, and your general events. For example, database maintenance, perhaps a global reflex was triggered, and many other kinds of events. So that's the event log, right, which is in contrast to the event history, right? As you may be familiar with in Amadeus 8, event history is simply a repository of all of your historical data. So if we were to click on the Access Events tab, you simply see here a history of all of your access events. At the top, I'd like to point out you have 3 checkboxes which you can used, for example, if I would want to show only the denied events in my table, so then I would simply check the show denied checkbox and uncheck the others. If I wanted to show the granted, only the access granted events, I would of course check the show granted checkbox. And similarly, similar functionality exists in the alarm events. Here you have again 3 checkboxes relevant to alarm events. For example, if I would want to show only those events under alarm, so I would check the show under alarm checkbox, and similarly for the show acknowledged or the show confirmed. Again, in all of these event history tabs, it's possible to search for any event in the system. And similarly for the technical events, the communication events, the audit events, and the general events. Right? There's a lot of common functionality amongst all of these tables. Again, just to remind you, it's possible to also to sort in the table by column on each of the columns. One last thing I'd like to point out is that it's possible through your Amadeus 8 license to define how many users can be connected through the web application at the same time.